Welcome back, everyone. And as I promised, we have a special guest, FIDE CEO and also very famous Grandmaster, Emil Sutovsky. Emil, thank you for joining us. Hello, how are you doing today? And what do you think about this event, which is happening right now in Cyprus, Nicosia?
Well, I'm excited that we came here again in 2023, where it was the first time. There were a lot of concerns because previously Cyprus didn't host any major event, but now we knew that we already have very reliable partners, and with Freedom Finance and with Chess Federation of Cyprus. So I think the event goes smooth.
Absolutely, we have women's event here, and as you announced also in your Twitter account, we are going to have a very interesting topic connected to women's chess. And first of all, overall, let's speak about Grand Prix series and what is the main goal of this event as part of the Women's World Championship cycle, and how important is it to have such events of such a high level in women's chess?
Well, it was a decision this cycle to actually expand number of events. We have 6 legs of this Women's Grand Prix series for the first time, and over 20 players taking part. I think it's very important. Also, the prize fund of the series is very significant, and I mean, if we have a prize fund of 600,000 euros, that really is meaningful. I also believe that it serves both as a qualifier, as you mentioned, to candidates, but also as a standalone important events, both for participants and spectators. And it's important that by expanding this series, we allow more players actually to get an opportunity to play these top-level events. We have several newcomers in the series, both Divya, Stavrola, and other players. It was not an easy decision because, you know, every time when you launch the series, you try to make it the best possible way. But if you make best possible way and also expand, it's a double responsibility. But I'm very happy that we embark on this journey, and I'm happy with our cooperation with our partners. The first event was in Tbilisi, in Georgia. Georgia is a capital of women's chess for many years. Then the second event was in Kazakhstan, in Shymkent, and Kazakhstan now, as you know, they're really new superpower, at least in women's chess, and they got silver medal in the Olympiad. Then the third stage was recently held in Monaco. Monaco, our long-term partner, and we saw so many beautiful events organized in Monaco. So here we are in Cyprus, and then later on in April it will be played in India, in Pune, and the final one would be in Austria.
Yeah, exactly. So many women. I think now you have 20 full tour players in this Grand Prix series, which gives more opportunities for ladies, as you mentioned before. But the question is like really important. Like, do we need women-only chess events, and do we need the women-only chess titles? Maybe we start one by one. First, about the events. Like, if it's so important for women to have their own cycles, their own events, or it's time for them to try to compete in open tournaments.
I think it's very important that there are women-only events and women-only titles. I know that this opinion is not shared by everyone, but it's very easy to have an opinion, and especially uninformed opinion, as many people do. But you need to rely on data. You need to know how actually chess and women chess work. And we know for sure that for the vast majority of players, elimination of women-only events and women-only titles would lead to situations that they would not get a support, be it a state support, private support, company support, because we see it very well. The women chess, they prosper only in countries or certain cities sometimes where you have a support for women chess in particular, because let's say for men it's not that critical, because if you are a good prominent player, you start earning a lot of money already very early. But for women it would be extremely difficult. Imagine that there's no women-only tournaments, no Grand Prix series like here, no event in Stavanger like they organized last year, and going to repeat excellent event, no Cairns Cup in US. So what the women players are supposed to do? To sacrifice their basically life, their careers, their opportunities in order to prove some point that they have to prove that they can be equal with men. I think many people don't realize that there is an opportunity for women players to participate in open tournaments, even the World Cup in open section. They can qualify. The problem is that, unfortunately, it doesn't happen often. We provide wildcards. We try to engage organizers of private tournaments to have more women participation. But still, we see that the difference is big. And it's important when you have an opinion about how it should be, first to have the data, and many opinions which are expressed, they're not database, they're just based on some sort of ideas or ideology, which is completely irresponsible, and FIDE cannot behave this way.
Yeah, I mean, let's maybe remember a bit the history, how the titles were introduced in FIDE. It's been a long time ago, I think in 70s even, right? And the purpose was to support women's chess overall from the very beginning. And I think the main concern is also the name, like woman grandmaster. Like it's like this is we get a lot of critics because of that. What do you think about it? Is it possible to change just the name of the title while we remain the same idea behind it?
It's very difficult. It's actually, the naming is a difficult point for many things. It's also like there was a discussion whether you should have a grandmaster and super grandmaster, how you define it. But the point is that when young player, or not young player, reach certain level and reach the titles, that's something that they can achieve. They can actually be proud of, and they can get support to continue their chess career, and that is a critical point. So now let's imagine a situation we don't have women titles, we don't have women-only tournaments. So what happens for the girls who are starting their way in chess? And I have all the figures and data, and I can share with you. There are many girls who start very successful chess career, being, let's say, strong kids player at the age of 7, 8, maybe 9, and they would be on par with best boys at this age group. But if we look a bit further down, already at the age of 12, we see the difference becomes huge. And that's something that was not like that exactly many years ago. Because if we would remember the careers of top female players of past, I mean, if we talk about Susan Polgar, who was, I think, top or number 2 rated player in the world, including men under 17 or 18, together with Anand or Ivanchuk. Or if we remember about Judith Polgar, who by the age of 15 was highest player in the world under 16, and she already reached 2600 or above. Or if we talk about all the generation, Konero, Stefanova, Lagno, Muzichuk, Gryachkina, all of these players were somewhere very near very top already at the age of 15, 16. They reached the level of 2550, 2600, and they were very strong players by that time. Now, what happens today is that situation changed drastically. There are a number of reasons. It's impossible to single out one, but it would be entirely incorrect to talk only about the socio-economic reasons. It's the whole scope of reasons to be taken into account. I attribute it to several factors, to several modern-day factors. One is that with accessibility of the game and with let's say possibility to train with best engines or train online and so on, now it's not so critical. The role of trainer, of a coach, is much less than it used to be. So imagine a situation 20 years ago, not 50, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. You were a prominent young girl and you would be 2300, 2400. That would be a level where you would be already a champion and you would be assigned a top coach training you. Now that would help you competing with the boys of the same age, because boys of the same age and rating would not get such a help because they would not be considered as strong. And by that time, having a good coach, having an excellent opening preparation would make a huge difference. Now what happens now? Now everyone is more or less in the same situation. Of course, having a personal coach would help here and there, but as practice shows, in every country, in every demographics, you can actually have a possibility to study and to to grow, to basically have your opening repertoire on a very, very good level. And this advantage which top female players had in the past, now it vanished. There is no such an advantage for players. It's maybe micro advantage here is there. Again, it's better to have a coach than not, but it's not such a huge advantage. Another thing that many players of younger generations, they master their skill playing a lot of games online. It started maybe 10 years ago, but we saw of course during the COVID it's increased all the time, and a player like Firuja who almost solely on playing thousands and thousands of Blitz games developed his skills, and so many young players did the same. Now it's once again being a question why girls tend to play less online, but we know that that's the situation. And there's several examples like that. It all led to a rather alarming situation today that in spite of the efforts, in spite of the price increase, in spite of all the opportunities which are bigger than they used to be, we have biggest gap for, I don't know, 50 years or so. Because if previously we would have, once again, top ladies players at the age of 15, 16, 17 reaching 2,500, today we have just a couple of players above 2,400 at the age of 17 or 18. And we all know them, of course. These are known names, and they are very talented players, and there are many players with a huge talent. But if we were actually to remove all the possibilities to compete in a women-only event, if we were to remove a possibility to be supported, to travel and so on, I think we would deprive many of these young talents of an opportunity under, I think, a false pretense that we will try to prove that women can grow in open tournaments better than they can grow competing in women-only events. Once again, restricting, never restricting. But I think any women player should have a chance to compete and to excel in girls-only or women's-only tournament, but of course also to provide an opportunity to play in open events and to compete on par with the best.
Yeah, I mean, it's a clear problem, and you know, it's a long discussion already. Like, if women should just play only in open tournaments. In fact, everybody can still do it. I mean, I'm not talking about the events of World Championship cycle, but you can always take a ticket and go to any open tournament and participate and have this chance, which is still like it's a great opportunity for women players also to have this chance to play in the open events as well. But like, what do you think FIDE is going to do about all this situation? Like, what is the plan for the next years? Like, support this idea today, or maybe in the future something can be changed? Like, I got your opinion for the moment, but let's say, do you think something can be changed, and what will be the ideal picture which you can describe for FIDE, or let's say for the world?
I think we as FIDE must create an incentive for many hundreds and thousands of talented players to keep building their chess career, and to have an incentive competing both in women-only events and providing opportunities to compete in open events. It is also important to rely on real data and not on some hype or some opinion which is not based on anything but rather than personal beliefs or dreams. It doesn't work like that. We cannot deprive talented players of an opportunity to play, because for some players in some countries, they could maybe do still well because they have sponsors. They would just pay for them and they would continue their career. But for the vast majority, if they would not have a chance to excel in women's competition, not to prove themselves as champions of a continent or champions and winning the Grand Prix stages or getting a WGM title, they would be just deprived of an opportunity to develop themselves as a players, and they would have to quit chess.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about. Even myself, like being woman grandmaster, like I had this experience, and I know that many tournaments would be not open for me if once I didn't have this title, and it helped a lot to increase my level as well. So I see that FIDE still believes that this is how we should go. What do you think about this initiative which St. Louis Chess Club introduced, Cairns Cup Award, for those who will achieve grandmaster title, for those ladies, I mean, citizens of US, obviously, who will manage to get the biggest title in chess, Grandmaster.
Full support. I think any initiative which incentivizes players to grow, to get to invest in her chess career, and then to know that she will get an award is warmly welcome. I think both St. Louis and Stavanger did do great job by raising a profile for women's game. At the same time, my point is as follows: women's chess deserves a support and deserves financial backing, no matter if they are improving their scores against top men player or not. It's just should be taken for that we must do our best for women's players to excel and to create all the necessary environment. At the same time, if we have a chance, if we have a player who obviously is already suitable to compete at the highest level, we should do every effort for her to participate in events like Grand Swiss, World Cup, and so on. And we did so. Actually, in every event of the kind, we provide wildcards to the best women players, shall they prefer to participate. But it cannot be just artificially, just to decide that somehow we remove all the women's events and now we claim that they play open only. It would simply kill women's chess, and we should not do so.
Yeah, so this is like your strong belief that this is what is going to happen. Let's say, and let's not experiment here to prove it. Yeah, I got it, Emilio. And my next question is like, why do you think the rating among like top women players dropped so much lately?
Yeah, we can obviously talk about it in length because it's not for one player or two players. You see players who are still young players. Say Goryachkina, Muzicek, and many others. They are dropping points. There were so many players who reached 26 late in year. They reached 2600. They were, to remind you, the first player, of course, was Judith. Then it was Hoi Fan.
And I think how many in the history? Like
six players.
Yes.
Yeah. Then Conero. Conero was number 3, Moschuk was number 4, and then Lei and Goryachkin. 6 players only. And now what we see that none of them is above 2550. Okay, maybe at times 2550, but not even close to 26. I attribute it to several factors, and it's not because they play each other that some suggest that they play each other.
Yes,
if they were to play each other, then the strongest would still score something. And we actually always talk that, okay, it's such a privilege for top men's players to play just each other in round robins, and it makes their life easier. No, it's not because of that. It's because they're playing team competitions. They're playing some leagues. Sometimes they play opens, like in a Sharjah Open or Qatar Open, or previously in Gibraltar or in Bill Open, and there is no evidence whatsoever that women score higher when they play men in Open. Or in Vike, we could see that, yes, sometimes the result is very reasonable, like Juve in June scored reasonably in previous Vike, but this reasonable still was, -2 or something. It was very reasonable score, but it's not like was something outstanding. Or we saw this year when Vaishali had a very good tournament, scoring -1 in a strong tournament, but it's not an exceptional. Okay, of course she's a strong player capable of beating 2600, but she is still capable of losing several games to 2400. So ratings basically reflect their strength. That's where it stands, and I think the major difference, which I believe is so, is about the advantage which they had in past by working with top coaches and then playing, let's say, most of them who were 2,500 players, and they would play 2,500 players without such a backing, without such a training, and they would get this advantage. And today this advantage is much less significant because, okay, you just open Cloud in ChessBase and you get let's check, and it already says you what's the best move on move 7 or 12, and it's deeply analyzed, and you don't necessarily need as much of training. And I think practice. I talked to many women players. I was in my previous life coach of several of them, and very few are proactively playing online, and almost nobody plays as much as boys play. I think not only online, but even other competitions.
Also, the schedule is so tough lately. So many women events, maybe they don't have that much time as before, even to play in open tournaments. I mean, top players.
Yes, but it only this year is as tight. In general, women play less, and in general, I think now the burden on a player is much heavier than it used to be. Also, I keep repeating, and some people are laughing about it, but chess is a sport and it's partly physical. It's not as physical as tennis when you need to hit a ball as strong, but it's physical. You need a lot of energy, you need a lot of, and today the demand for players is higher than it ever was because you need to prepare. And I know from players they work on chess much more than it used to be 20 years or 30 years ago. So you need to invest much more energy. It's much more difficult to recover. It's physical. It does has an impact, and we could see that once again. Great players, great talents, but it's very difficult, and we should not press on them and try to say, well, like, okay, we proved that you cannot be in these circumstances as strong as men, so now we just remove all the women tournament and play and go swim yourself, or drown or become strong. And so what? Even if we get one extreme, another Judith Polgar, does it worth losing hundreds or thousands of players whose careers would be absolutely ruined by that? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I got it. And now that we're talking about women's chess, now we spoke about top players. What do you think about the generation of women streamers? And like those who maybe didn't achieve that much in chess, but achieved something else by promoting chess, and what their role in the chess world?
I think it's special skill. It takes a lot of talent. It takes a lot of also self-discipline, because people think, okay, it's just so easy to come up with some stupid content, but it's not. It's actually very difficult. It's a work, and I know how hardworking all these ladies are, and also men who are doing that. And I think it's for the benefit both of the game and of course themselves. It's a good career for players whose communicative skills are high, and yeah, they may not be, I don't know, top grandmasters. They can be WGMs or even WIMs or even 1800 players, but they know enough about the game, and they mix the entertainment and chess. And I'm very positive about stuff they're doing. I do feel a bit odd that Anna Krumlink is 1,000 times more popular than Pia Krumlink, who was and is a great player, and whom I think every female player, but not only, have a lot of respect towards.
Absolutely.
But that's a life nowadays. Yes, it does feel a bit strange, I have to say. But again, kudos for Anna. She's doing a great job, and I think she found her niche, and she's serving chess community in a different way, but I think it's very entertaining, and as long as people like it, it means that she's on the right path.
Yeah, they're also like very supportive. I mean that women players make a lot of things, to promote chess overall, and actually it's really great to have them in the chess world. Emil, anything we would like to say about women chess in general, like something what we didn't cover with you in this conversation?
No, I think one important thing which we didn't cover, we were talking mostly about top players.
Yeah.
I would say that one of FIDE's roles is also to include into this process many countries and thousands of girls and players who would maybe not become top players, but would enjoy their life as a chess players, would travel, would learn something from the game, would make friends all over the world. I think it's very important because chess has this unique possibility to unite people. It's this gens una sumus is maybe one of the greatest mottos which actually reflects what we are. I mean, you have friends in 100 countries or even more. You know each other. You meet people. You learn cultures. You at the end of the day, you make for better society this way, because when you learn to understand the mentality of other people, their culture, their habits, it helps in the future life. And I think FIDE's role also in this one. And we always cover top events, but again, when we talk about all the girls competition, teams competitions, and so on, Olympiad, which is a great festival of basically all the nations coming in, I think it plays a huge role, and women play a very important part of it. I think of our entire policy is also about that we provide an opportunity. It's very important to provide an opportunity, and it's never that opportunity would be fully pursued. But maybe if it is not 5%, but 15%, then we already succeeded. And of course, the participation rates is also very important. As you know, traditionally, it's around 10-11% of women participation. We set a task to go higher, to reach maybe 14 or 15%. And it should not be just on, on paper. We should see actually active, proactive participation, engagement, also following the games and so on. That's difficult. That's already could be attributed to some sort of socio-demographical reasons and what is considered to be women's sport and not women's sport, and that's topic of a different discussion. But I think FIDE's role here is obviously to provide opportunities for top players to earn, to provide opportunities for coaches, women coaches, and women. There are a lot of women coaches, actually, women arbiters, to do their career around chess, to provide opportunities to kids. That's maybe most important, to study chess, to travel, to enjoy the game. And for many of them, that would serve as a very sound base for future life. I know that many kids study chess in order to have actually something to write in their CV later on when they want to graduate and they want to get to a good university or something, that they were a chess champion of their country, of their city, or even more. So I think FIDE here also should not forget about this role, this social role of chess, and we do not forget about it.
No, obviously not. Thank you so much, Emil, for this discussion. I think it's really important to speak about women chess and everything what FIDE is doing and others to develop this part of chess. Thank you once again, and we hope you will come back to us again in the studio.
Thank you, Anastasia.
Have a great day. Thank you, and we're going for the break.